The New Orleans Saints have just around $8 million to spend, and they could also clear up some more cap space throughout the rest of the offseason. But I do want to use today's video to discuss some free agent targets that the Saints could bring in to fill some positions in need, fill some holes that the Saints may or may not have missed out on within the 2024 NFL Draft. But before we dive into that, it's your turn to put on the hat of Mickey Loomis. What is the biggest need for the black and gold right now? Do you think that it's safety? Is it offensive line? Is it defensive back? What is it? What do you think? Wide receiver? Running back? I don't know. This is your chance to get loud and tell me what you think in the comment section. Now, my first free agent target, this is no shocker here. There's no mystery. Every single piece of content that you absorb, whether it's reading, whether it's watching, listening, whatever, every single piece of content around free agency is going to say Justin Simmons is number one. And I totally agree, but here's the thing. The New Orleans Saints have a tie to Justin Simmons. With Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Simmons, they are both very highly respected players. They both absolutely love each other. And Tyrann Mathieu, whenever Simmons was released by the Broncos, he took to Twitter, took to social media and said, you know what? He's going to land on his feet. He's going to be fine. And he's one of his favorite players in the league. Now, I would love to get Tyrann Mathieu's running mate in New Orleans right now. Now, obviously, I love Jordan Howden, but why Justin Simmons? Because he's another quality veteran to mentor the defensive backs, not just Jordan Howden, but Kool-Aid McKinstry, Paulson Adebo, for the love of God. I mean, he's not young, he's not old, but why not have more veteran experience that knows what the hell they're doing? And on top of that, he's a very versatile player. He can play in the box, he can play up at the defensive line, he can play in the slot, he can play as a free safety. Wherever you want him to line up, he can do it. And on top of that, just imagine the combinations of Tyrann Mathieu, Justin Simmons, Howden Simmons, Howden Mathieu, Abram Simmons, Abram Mathieu, like, you see what I'm saying? Just there's so many amazing possibilities if you are to bring in Justin Simmons. So if you want Justin Simmons, the man who leads the NFL in interceptions since joining the league, to be a part of the black and gold, I need you to do one quick thing. That's hit the thumbs up icon and like today's video. Also, isn't that jersey swap just so freaking crispy? Let's go to the next player, and it's Dalton Risner, who spent some time with Justin Simmons in Denver, but most recently played with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I do think that the Saints need to address the interior offensive line. So here's the look at the updated depth chart with the draft picks, with the undrafted free agents, and here's how things shake out right now. So I think Talise Fuanga actually is going to start as the right tackle. I don't expect Ryan Ramczyk to be ready to go week one. But I do think Trevor Penning will be the left tackle. And then on top of that, Josiah Ezerim, he was a 7th-round pick. I think that he has a high upside and maybe could make the roster and could at least push Trevor Penning. Now, Oli Udoh, he does have more snaps at the guard position than tackle, but he is a good swing tackle, so you could use him on either side of the ball. We finally got some depth behind Eric McCoy and Sincere Haynesworth out of Tulane. Cesar Ruiz, Nick Saldiveri. We'll see what happens with some of those guys. I do expect Saldiveri to kick it to the left guard spot because he's a very versatile player, can play all 5 spots across the offensive line. And then, like I said, I'm going to put Fuanga at the right tackle position, but here's just how the depth chart shakes out. Like, if everyone's healthy, if everything pans out the way we all hope and dream it can. So I will also say this about Dalton Risner. A big thing why I love the idea of getting a player like him is because he's a true left guard. Like, he isn't a tackle. He's not a center. He is a guy who plays the interior guard position. That's it. He has over 4,500 snaps logged at the left guard position, and quite frankly, that is one of the biggest needs for the Saints. If you remember that little refresher of the depth chart, Oli Udoh, he's played some guard, but that was on the right side, and he swing tackle. But I mean, you could literally plug and play Dalton Risner and be a left guard, and you have your spot taken care of. But another option at the interior offensive line is Connor Williams. Now, he has played a lot of center in his day, and this is a player who will not unseat Eric McCoy. I do believe in Eric McCoy, and I think that he is a damn good center for the NFL, and why would you try and bring in competition and try and shake things up if you don't need it? Now, in terms of depth for Connor Williams, I think that it does make some sense to bring him into the interior offensive line. Like, maybe he could be a good backup. Maybe he could be a player that you have in different packages. Maybe he could be a player that you do look at whenever you're trying to run the football, because he has a damn good run blocking grade of 90.5. And Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, he has spoken with media a couple times at this point, and he said they want to be grounded. They want their offense to be a running football team. Like, they want to be effective on first and second down, not just in the second and third and fourth down. Like, they want to run the damn ball. And Connor Williams, he's a damn good run blocker. 90.5 PFF grade, and that is also has 3,312 snaps at left guard. So maybe you could have him play the left guard position if you can't go and get a Dalton Risner. But I want you guys to sound off and pick between one of these two. Which option do you like better? Dalton Risner, just type DR. Connor Williams, just give me a CW in the comment section. And as always, don't forget to hit the thumbs up icon, subscribe today. But I got to tell you about today's presenting sponsor, and it is Fanatics. We actually have jerseys available at the Fanatics website. If you use our link, chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. Now, they're not rocking 00. It's a placeholder number. So if you want to get a Kool-Aid McKinstry jersey, or you want to go get a Spencer Rattler jersey, whenever they finally pick their number, that's the number that Fanatics will send to you. It's just like a placeholder number. So, just bear with it. But if you want to get a Rattler jersey, home, away, or color rush, or a Kool-Aid McKinstry, home, away, color rush, men's, women's, adult, children, whatever, go to chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. That link is in the comment section and description of this video. Also, if you want to go above and beyond, let me know what jersey I should get next. So another safety that I want to talk about is Micah Hyde. And really quick, before we move on here, you can tell right here, it's not a lot of diversity in terms of the players that I want and the free agent targets that I like. I think that the two biggest needs, safety and offensive line, and specifically interior offensive line at this point. And I think Micah Hyde, who put up really, really good numbers for the Bills last year, he's a seasoned veteran. He knows how to play the game of football at a high level. He did it with Green Bay. He's done it with Buffalo. He's a player that can just bring in so much wisdom and so much experience. And similar to Justin Simmons, he can be a really good player that can be a good mentor to some of the other younger defensive backs on the team. And he is also extremely versatile. You look at the snap alignment. This is according to PFF. Micah Hyde is able to play all over the place. He obviously is better off in that free safety position, but if you want him to play in the box or on the slot, why not go and throw him down into the middle, down near the trenches, and in the middle of the field, you can allow him to be an effective player. And again, you can use Micah Hyde and Tyrann Mathieu, or Micah Hyde and Jordan Howden, or whatever. The possibilities are endless with this DB room. And on top of that, you have versatile cornerbacks like an Alontae Taylor, like Paulson Adebo. And then you have one of the best outside corners in Marshawn Lattimore. But going back to the offensive side of the ball, I do think that one more wide receiver would just be the cherry on top for me. And it's nothing against Cedric Wilson. It's nothing against the players that are currently on the roster. But let's take a look at the updated depth chart. And it's much, much better than what it was going into the draft. Going into the draft, you didn't have Tipton, you didn't have Jackson, and you didn't have Kyle Sheets or Bud Means. So before the draft, you were rolling with Chris Olave, A.T. Perry, Sheed, Equanimous St. Brown, Stanley Morgan, and Cedric Wilson. And I don't hate that idea, and I don't hate that combination, but I think that Tyler Boyd just can bring a little bit more oomph to the team, if you will. He can bring a little extra pepper to the season. He can add a little extra flavor to the offense. And he is a wildly, I'm not kidding. I've shown the graphic multiple times, and I'm not doing it again on today's show. But the consistency that Tyler Boyd has had is on par with in terms of the per game production, or the per yards per game, catches per game, touchdowns per season, whatever. The averages have been similar now as they were before Jamar Chase and T. Higgins came around. So I think that if you want a highly talented player that can be extremely effective, that can be a nice veteran piece, that can also be a reliable piece, I think Tyler Boyd is an excellent option. Now, two honorable mention names that we have to discuss. Andrus Peat, he was with the New Orleans Saints his entire NFL career. Trey Turner, he's kind of been all over the place, spent some time with the Panthers, spent some time with the Commanders, the Steelers, and he did sign with the New Orleans Saints last year, but did suffer a leg injury. I believe it was a torn quad in training camp, and actually was sidelined the entire season, went on IR before he had the chance to rep the black and gold. But the former LSU Tiger, I wouldn't hate the idea of running it back with him, but I also am not totally hopeful that he's going to be a big-time impact player and he's going to make the 53-man roster. But for training camp, absolutely. Why not bring in some guys to make them compete and make them earn their spot on the roster? Andrus Peat, he's versatile. He can play guard. He can play tackle. I'm just kind of tired of having him be around the team and just not play at the highest level as he possibly could. So that's just my personal opinion on the two players. I think Pete could make some sense. I think Turner could also make some sense. But who did I miss? I want you to shout out a free agent in the comment section that you want the New Orleans Saints to sign. And as always, we'll be live tomorrow afternoon, so we'll see you guys then. Y'all stay golden. See you tomorrow live.